Well, here we are, YouTube. How y'all doing tonight? Light's a little low. I'm running by one lamp, but just one of those days. You guys ever had this thing where you just can't sleep? You just can't sleep for any reason, man. You try to lay down in bed. You're tired when you walk in there, but you put your head down in there, and the minute you have your head on that pillow, your eyes just go boop. You can't close them for crap, man. Well, that's kind of where we are now, right now. So I thought I would just film a little video. Why not? Got nothing better to do. Well, figured I'd touch base with y'all. A lot of things going on, but y'all know that. Good grief, man. Tell you what, this COVID thing. This has been a crazy year, but I don't have to tell any of y'all that. I think the whole world is tripping balls right now. And I don't, how should I put this? Coming from a scientific background, I don't know why a person would not wear a mask. My whole thing with these people that refuse to wear a mask, hey, that's all well and good. I don't have anything against you. I'm going to wear one, and I'll tell you why, because what if I have it? And I'm out there coughing and spreading my vapors all around, you know. Here's the thing. No, the mask doesn't fully stop the virus, stop you from catching it, but it acts as a muffler, so if you have it, you're not giving it to the 4 or 5 other people around you, is what it is. And the other thing that a mask does, without a mask, your sputum can travel as far as 20 feet. Somebody else, you can infect somebody else, and their coffin can travel as far as 20 feet. You put that mask on, your cough maybe travel 3 feet at the most. You know, the bigger part of it, and the smaller part of it maybe 6 feet. Plus, they're starting to find out now, and this is coming from people who are studying this very closely and who are working in the hospitals and figuring things out. They had suspected for a long time, but it has just been released in the American Journal. I believe it was the American Journal of Medicine. It's apparently can aerosolize. They suspected it because of the cruise ship fiasco that happened over in Japan, but nobody was really sure. But they just recently verified it, that it can exist in the air on the finer microparticles for up to a minute before it comes out of the air, before it dissipates. And those microparticles that you cough out, basically how it works, the mechanics of it, when you cough it out, those really submicron particles, or those micron-sized particles of water, have the virus in them, and then the water evaporates. It flashes away into the air. The warmer it is, the faster it does. But when it flashes away, the viri that were in the water, in those micro droplets, are now airborne for that period of time, like a fine dust floating around. So this is something they're finding out. And so it's vitally important that you wear a mask, because it takes all of that and it controls the distance it can travel. Those microparticulates carrying those viri in them can travel as far as 32 feet without a mask. And there's a guy who he works in the hospitals and he treats COVID patients, but he's qualified to make these statements. And if you want to really know what he says about it word for word, it's medcram.com is the name of the site, and he has a YouTube channel. Just punch in medcram, all one word. He's been with this thing since the very beginning. He's been taking care of people, treating people. He's been on the front lines of all this, where the really bad stuff has been happening. And he's got sound information. It's all based scientifically. He does his homework. He's keeping abreast of all of the medical research out there and all of the latest theories. So a good thing to take in. But yeah, on the whole mask thing, the reason I got off on that and started talking about that is it's you got to protect yourself. I mean, I know it isn't the greatest thing, but something is better than nothing. It's not a political thing. It's just plain science, you know? Protect yourself. And they say, well, it won't protect you from getting it. I beg to differ. It lowers your chances of getting it. I wouldn't say it completely protects you from getting it, but putting that thing on and having it on your face will make you more apt to dodge a bullet that the people around you can't dodge because they don't have a mask on. And it'll also protect those around you. It's a matter of politeness. It's a matter of politeness. It really is something that shouldn't have to be enforced by law. It really isn't. I mean, if you're educated and you know anything about microbiology, anatomy, and physiology, if you've had those courses, you should know. You should know that this is science. It's pure science is all it is. I don't know why everybody has to turn something into a political statement, I can remember the big argument years ago, I'm not going to wear a seatbelt, blah, 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 blah. You know what happened when people started wearing seatbelts? Fewer people got ejected out of the front of the car through the windshield, died on the tarmac. Yeah, they got beat up and bruised up, and when car manufacturers flubbed up on the placement of the cross belt, some people got decapitated. But those things have all been addressed and fixed, the majority of them. But the fact is that they had to pass a law so that you would protect yourself. I can see the pluses and minuses of it, The pluses, yeah, preservation of life for life's sake, But on the minus side of it, it kind of negates survival of the fittest now, doesn't it? Or does it? Or doesn't it? Because a smart person will put that damn thing on. A smart person will put that damn thing on. So is it? It's not politics, it's Darwinism, really, if you think about it. All things that function, survival of the fittest, survival of most intelligent, it's Darwinism. If you don't want to wear a mask and you want to get belly button to asshole on some beach somewhere so you can get you some fine pussy, well, don't be surprised if 14 days later you and about, I'd say God knows how many percent of who was out there with you are all sick. It's funny, we had this huge upsurge. Sorry about that, I gotta grab that. Had this huge upsurge within 14 days of spring break. And now if you look at our numbers, they're just, here's the graph, and then it started to level off, and then spring break came, so now it's going up faster than ever. Riots. All those people that rioted, I wonder how many of them are sick now. You want to know why they're probably not doing a whole hell of a lot to treat or cure the virus right now, or any stimulus checks or any of that crap? Because they want all you troublemakers to die off. It's just like an insurance company. Think about it. Let's say your old man or your old woman, your grandma, your grandpa, your mom or your dad, they get really sick. And they try to claim it on the insurance, but the insurance company denies and keeps on delaying and delaying and delaying. What they're doing is they're hoping that you'll die before they have to file the claim, before they have to pony up the money, And that's kind of what it feels like with this whole stimulus thing. So do yourself a favor and keep yourself alive. Because I think the high muckety mucks up there, the fact that they're on a vacation now while all this crap is happening, and they never solve the problem with the stimulus. I mean, they've had it on the cusp of passing it. It's a real shame that Trump had to actually do an executive order to try and light a fire under their asses. But they, let's just go on our vacation. We'll have our vacation and our pork programs and our special little toy programs. We can't squeeze them into the relief of the people, so we'll just fight over it. And they don't give a shit about you guys or me or anybody else. They want us to die so they don't have to pay out. That's what's going on. Meanwhile, while they're bickering and fighting over this whole thing, and can't seem to come to terms. When has Washington ever ever come out with anything fast. It's because there's nothing in it for them. That's the whole thing. So they'll just go off on their little vacations, you know. Talk about socially distanced. How about completely detached from society? You know, these bastards are all psychopaths, and what do they call them? Sociopaths. One or the other. Probably sociopaths. They don't give a crap. All you guys and all we are money making engines to these people. You know? They've gotten to such a point they don't even care that people are dying, man. I look out here all around this town. There are people here, they're running out of money. They're running out of money. There was that brief end to the moratorium on evictions. I don't know how that went, but I know there was a wave of eviction notices that went around. All this crap happened here. A lot of people in the middle to lower income side of this town, a lot of them lost their homes. Some of them with kids. Married couples just living paycheck to paycheck. Now they can't. It's nice if you can work from home. It's real nice if you can work from home, but a lot of people can't. And their jobs have suspended themselves until all of this stuff is over with. You know, there's only so much relief that was given. That first stimulus check, let me tell you, that first one, it was gone inside of 6 days with most people. They went out and they bought food because they were already hurting. And they paid bills and maybe part of their rent, who knows. There's a few people bought stupid shit with it. They saw it as party time, but I bet it ain't party time for them now. 2 months without a boost. 2 months without any help. They're talking like it could be the middle to the end of September before anything comes. And I'm gonna put myself out there right now and say, y'all suckers ain't gonna get shit. Better go out and find you a ditch to dig, because that's about the only job out there you're gonna have. Yep. So don't hold your breath. Because like I said, I think they're like the insurance companies. You know, they delay and delay, hope that you die, or hope that the situation goes away, or that you shut up. I think that's honestly, if you really look at it, that's honestly what's happening. It's not affecting me much. I mean, I'm on a fixed income, so, you know. But you guys, I know it's hurting you guys. I know it's hurting you guys. And I just wonder if the world's ever going to get back to any semblance of normalcy. I mean, this is the kind of world that's great for an introvert. Social distancing, stay out of the outdoors, stay out of public places, you know. But, you know, you still got to go get supplies for your household, so everybody takes the risk. They have started to look at Australia. Australia is in its winter season. And guess what? COVID-19 is making a resurgence. Their daily death and daily case count is starting to go back up. So apparently this is a virus that likes the cold. It doesn't like the warm, but it sure as hell loves the cold. So make sure you guys get your supplies together and get things in. Get your food. Get a pretty good supply of canned food while it's around. Things that'll last you, because when this thing does, if it does, make a resurgence when the weather gets cold, you're going to want some food for that little bit of time while that thing goes crazy. The vaccine, supposedly there are some vaccines now in human trials. Excuse me. Here's the thing about a vaccine, though. The vaccine only works if you haven't caught it yet. The vaccine is not a cure. It won't help any of us that may have caught it. It will only help those that have not caught it. It's a preventative. And if this thing mutates, which supposedly it has, there's a new strain of it, it's going to be kind of like a flu shot thing. There's going to be this run, this race between the new strain and the new shot that covers that strain. So this might be something for years and years and years that we as the normal public, it's going to be as common as a flu shot to have to go up there to like Walgreens or somewhere and get your shot, you know. So, shall be an interesting time. I mean, I sit and I watch. I see so many hundreds of people in places without masks, and I don't, I don't think they're smart. But you're entitled to what you're entitled to your liberty, and it's kind of like the same thing. If you want to commit suicide, I believe you should be allowed to. I don't believe the state should have any say in that. You know, if you want to commit suicide, this is no different. If you want to expose yourself and catch this shit and end up on a ventilator for about a week before you die, in most cases when you get to ventilator stage, then by all means, more power to you. The way I look at it is very Darwinian. It's also, if you're going to do this to yourself, please clear yourself out of the way so that there's more for the rest of us to go around, because it is a sinking ship right now, pretty much. And those that get in the way of those that try to save themselves or try to save others. And I would think that most of y'all out there would have a higher sense of self-preservation, but maybe not. So, all you spring breakers out there caught it. How'd that pussy? Was that pussy all worth it? How's it feel now that you're laying in a bed somewhere barely able to breathe with blood clots in your toes and blood clots all around you? Oh, that's the other thing it does. Let's just put it this way. You catch this shit, you ain't going to be doing any Olympic events anytime soon. If you had hopes of being an athlete, they're pretty much done. This thing goes through your system. Lungs is just one of the things it can do. And they're starting to find out, yes, it does infect the young. There are quite a few young that they haven't succumbed to it, but they're not going to be future athletes either. It goes through your system and just randomly selects organs to just tear the living crap out of. I'm putting it in terms, I'm not going to talk in scientific terms, because I believe the common man is not interested in, what do they call them, megakaryocytes and things like that. You're just interested in what it does. Well, here's what it does. It goes through your bloodstream. The reason it fucks your lungs up is because your lungs have, what do they call them, ACE2 receptors in your lungs that control your blood pressure. Guess what other organs in your bodies have the ACE2 receptor? Your colon, several other organs, your heart, a few other things. This thing basically just tears through your system like a lawnmower, and it's a hit and miss. It's a roll of the dice what it's going to affect. So definitely watch yourselves, guys. I hate to be the bringer of fear, but I mean, I've studied this stuff. I've looked at the papers, and I've been keeping tabs on this. And it's nothing to sneeze at, so be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. Wear your mask, and as they say, stay about 6 feet from everybody else. Don't get into crowded buildings. You know, the ones that are succumbing to this stuff faster than anybody else? Churches. Do you know why? It's not a God/devil thing. It's, ah. What do you do when you sing? You're exhaling. All that vapor in your lungs is going out into the room, and all that crap that you may have contracted is going out into the room. So it's no surprise to me. It's no surprise to me to see so many churches and pastors catching this, and people in the churches catching this and passing away. You know, you do it to yourselves. Don't do things to yourselves that are bad for you. Do what you need to do to keep yourself healthy and alive. It's no different than washing your hands and washing your hair, normal hygiene. It's just something you do. And that's about it. Until next time. Hopefully I'll still be healthy then. I've dodged the bullet several times. I know at least one time I've dodged the bullet. She works over at Protective Services, Adult and Child Protective Services. And somebody showed up in the office. They tested positive for COVID. So everybody was immediately quarantined. And the place was like super deep cleaned. Well, Thankfully, they were only in there a short time, supposedly. Don't know who it was. They never tell you these things. But we all dodged that bullet. We came through the quarantine with flying colors. So, but yeah, it's no laughing matter. It's no laughing matter. We got people around this town that have died from it. So, and it's nice to know now. We find out that the youngins who thought they were indestructible, it affects them too. It's like I said, don't pursue any athletic careers once you catch this. You're done. But anyway, this is getting super long. I'm going to post it now. You guys have a good evening and be careful out there.